What happens when a single decision changes a family's life forever, and the punishment feels almost non-existent? This courtroom moment forces that question into the open, and it's one that leaves many people stunned long after the judge speaks. We begin in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where a routine motion hearing quickly turns into an emotional reckoning over accountability, loss, and justice. 39-year-old Michael Young is back in court. He has already pleaded guilty to failing to stop after causing serious impairment, and for that, he was sentenced to just 40 days in jail, along with 18 months of probation. The case goes back more than 3 years earlier, when police say Young drove his truck off the road, through a ditch, and straight into a parked car sitting in a residential driveway. Inside that car was 76-year-old Patricia Vitale, who was visiting one of her daughters at the time. Instead of staying to help, Young called a friend for a ride and left the scene before police arrived. Patricia was rushed to the hospital, but she died the following day from her injuries. Investigators later identified Young through eyewitness accounts and arrested him. One witness reported smelling alcohol on his breath, but because Young refused to speak to police and too much time had passed, no blood alcohol test was ever done. Originally, he faced a more serious charge related to causing death, but that charge was dropped after he agreed to plead guilty to the lesser offense. Now, standing before Judge Patrick Conlin, Young has only served half of his already short jail sentence. He's asking the court for leniency once again, citing upcoming shoulder, neck, and leg surgeries that could require a long recovery. His request is simple but controversial: reduce or eliminate the remaining jail time and adjust his probation. As the judge listens, it becomes clear this decision isn't just about medical schedules. It's about whether justice has already been stretched too far. As the hearing continues, the judge carefully explains the situation. Young still owes 20 days in jail, and one option on the table would be to waive that requirement altogether. But before any decision is made, a troubling detail surfaces. The victim's family has reported seeing Young at a local bar while he is supposed to be on probation. That revelation changes the tone of the courtroom instantly. When asked to respond, Young doesn't deny being there. Instead, he tries to explain. He says the bar is part of the only restaurant in town, a small place where people go to eat lunch, not necessarily to drink. He insists there was nothing inappropriate about being there and claims there are simply no other places to go. The judge acknowledges the explanation, but reminds him why everyone is in the room. A woman lost her life. The prosecution is clearly uneasy with the idea of reducing the sentence. The prosecutor points out that Patricia's family believed the sentence was final, that it represented some form of closure. Changing it now, especially to accommodate the man responsible, feels wrong to them. She notes that even if options are limited in a small town, takeout exists. The message is clear: convenience is not a valid excuse. Judge Conlin weighs two competing ideas: whether serving 20 more days in jail truly protects the public, or whether extending probation with stricter conditions might be more effective. He considers sobriety monitoring and longer supervision as alternatives. But before making any ruling, he makes one thing clear: he wants to hear directly from the people most affected. The courtroom grows quiet as Patricia Vitale's daughters prepare to speak, knowing their words may be the final factor in a decision that already feels painfully personal. Patricia's daughters address the court with visible emotion, and their words cut through every legal argument made so far. One daughter reminds everyone that the sentence was only 40 days. 40 days for a life lost. She describes living every single day, reliving the night her mother was killed, in her own front yard, in front of her children. She emphasizes that Young didn't stay to help. He ran. To her, that choice alone feels like an insult to her mother's life and to their family's grief. Her sister echoes that pain. She acknowledges her mother's age, but rejects the idea that it should matter. Patricia still had years left to live, memories left to make, and family left to be with. From their perspective, the original sentence was already shockingly lenient. Asking for early discharge now feels like reopening a wound that never had time to heal. Their voices make something clear that statistics and legal terms cannot. The harm didn't end with the crash. After hearing them, Judge Conlin delivers his decision. He states that in light of what the victim's family has shared, he will not change the conditions of probation. He will not grant early discharge. Young will remain on probation and must serve the remaining 20 days of his jail sentence. There's no celebration in the room, no sense of victory, only a quiet acknowledgement of limits. The ruling doesn't bring Patricia back, and it doesn't erase the family's pain, but it draws a line, reinforcing that even when the system feels inadequate, it still must listen to those left behind. And in this moment, the court chooses not convenience, not accommodation, but at least to hold firm where it can.